Hello, Ren of Taurus Rising, back with our weekly Wellness with Tarot. And we are trekking along with our Fool's Journey series. We're getting towards the end, actually. We're towards the last 3 to 4 cards. And today we have the Sun, which is really cool because we just had the New Year. And in the Chinese zodiac system, we are moving into the year of the horse, and we have a horse here. Last year was the year of the snake, 2025, which was supposed to be a year of stripping, kind of detoxing the things that are not authentic, not really real, illusion, or perhaps idealized ideas, what you think you needed or wanted, but don't, or maybe old versions, old desires that you're shedding that really aren't fitting anymore. I certainly had lots of stripping in big areas of my life. Also, I think there's a stripping of ideas of what concepts of what you really think how things should be, or just reframing, finding, let's say, for example, freedom. Like maybe you thought that you could find freedom in your life in this way, but it actually really isn't what you needed. For me personally, I had more of a freelance kind of job situation, and now I'm realizing, no, I actually need more structure and predictability. So it's like things came in and things so I had things come in the beginning of the year, and now they're all leaving. The things that came in the beginning, I don't have anymore, or I'm shifting. So that's an example of 2025. Now, but we're moving into the year of the horse. The horse, if you think about, obviously a horse, y'all imagine have seen one, heard one, at least seen one on in a movie. Just the forward motion, action, strength. I mean, horses are strong, incredible animals, but also very in tune and empathetic to other people's energy. If you're familiar with equine therapy, these horses is almost like a neurofeedback, where they can sense your energy. And so the idea is for you to regulate your energy so that you can be kind of resonate with the horse's energy. That's not the best explanation, but essentially horses, they're just so strong and so powerful, but also so intuitive. You can't really lie to a horse, So there's a lot, I think, there's a lot of layers to the idea of a horse, and this being the year of the horse. So this is perfect that we have a horse in this card. So the sun. The sun, as you can see, is very happy. This is from the Radiant Rider-Waite deck, so it's very traditional imagery with the sun, of course. The child, the sunflowers. It's a very just positive, optimistic card. I think youthful. Obviously with the child, I think of inner child, hope, almost like a brand new path in a sense. Now, if we're relating this to the Fool's journey. So the Fool is going along, learning these things from each kind of station, as you will, each person, each guide along their journey, meets the sun, and it's sort of this, the Fool's integrating all of these experiences. I think their experiences in having confidence. When I think of the sun, I think of confidence. I also think of Leo, the sign of Leo, and the Leos are the performers of the zodiac, very charismatic. So I think also with this card is as the Fool has gone and gained all these experiences, these hard times, these positive times, but low times, they have confidence that they can handle things. And it's almost okay, all these things have happened. So I know I can trust myself. Maybe sometimes things are hard and I'm not sure, but I can trust that I can get through it. And also sort of some faith in yourself. I think I've talked about this childlike faith. I don't really believe in blind faith because I don't think it makes sense. I think you need to have trust before you can actually have faith in something. But if you think about a new soul who comes in to this incarnation, they have this beautiful energy, this warmth and hopefulness that hasn't been jaded yet. So I feel like this card is almost a combination of that warm child energy, but also faith that comes from experience. So just very positive, fortunate card. I also read in one meaning of this card is that the universe is conspiring to get you on your path. It also makes me think of, okay, finally, you've woken up and you know where you're headed and you know what you want. You're on your authentic path. We're going to help you now. And so there's this momentum of going forward. So there's a lot of cool layers to this card, but overall it's keywords to think about are like optimistic, positivity, hope, faith, confidence, fortuitous, but I think fortune and luck that comes from doing the work. Like it's not just, your ship comes in or you're lucky enough. It's that you've gone through the work, gone through the experience. So now you've set yourself up for success, and putting yourself in a point of leveraging your experience to go on a path that feels good, aligned, and is set up for success. So there's a lot there, plus the year of the horse. So that's the energy of the Sun card. Now we ask, where do we need the Sun card in our lives? And I'm going to use the Mystical Moments deck, as I've shown y'all before. Oh, that's cool. Just looking at, I saw some cards. I haven't really gone through this whole deck, so I'm always surprised by the imagery because it's not traditional. All right, so where do we need Sun energy in our lives? Especially going into the new year. Okay. Okay, I'm feeling called towards this card right here. It's kind of tucked in there. Ah, interesting. I believe, have had this card before in another reading. The Five of Pentacles, which is very much a stark, I think, contrast to the Sun for multiple reasons. One being that the Sun is a very optimistic, kind of warm, fortunate card, whereas the Five of Pentacles is more of a scarce, cold, like low point, more like when the pendulum swings the other way kind of card. Also, the Five of Pentacles is a minor arcana card, obviously, and then the Sun is a major arcana card. So that's quite a juxtaposition there. So the Five of Pentacles it's a card kind of going into like the little elements of this card. Five represents tension, kind of a point of conflict, point of tension, that needs to be resolved somehow, or just like that point. You kind of like think about in the story where there's that point of tension in like a story or a movie. And Pentacles represents earth, material plane. So it's also, this is kind of historically a card about like scarcity, poverty, like kind of financial stuff, but generally material, some point of scarcity, feeling poverty in some way. It doesn't necessarily have to be just material, like numbers in the bank. I think it could also mean like emotionally, or in a relationship, perhaps like maybe feeling scarce, like maybe your relationships don't have depth. But there's this energy of scarcity that manifests really in the earthly plane, not just with money, but like the things that matter in the earthly plane, like relationships and money and resources. Not even just money, but like resources, like perhaps, I don't know, for example, like maybe you're a musician and you have a decent amount of money and maybe you have good relationships, but maybe where you live, you don't have many musical opportunities because you don't live in Austin, where I do, where there's like there's a scarcity, there's lack of music in your town. So like that could even be an example of scarcity. Or maybe you're living in a town for work. You moved and like you've got money and you've got a great place to live and you like your job, but maybe you haven't found your people yet. Like you feel like you don't resonate with the locals, So there's some sort of like scarcity around resources. It doesn't have to actually mean like money, numbers in the bank, but some sort of like not having quite what you need. You are not quite getting your needs met. You're not sure, or maybe things have been taken from you. There's scarcity in some major area of your life. Where do you need the Sun? Okay, so I think it means, I really think it's really just getting authentic and like clear about, okay, what do I really want? What is it that I'm actually missing? If you see this and the figure here, the imagery of this deck is really cool. It's like she's got this kind of bodice, like her dress is like see-through, and like you can see right through her. You can see like the rose that has wilted, or peony, there's some sort of flower, and she's looking down, she's despondent. And then, but at the same time, she's kind of left out in the cold, because you can see the light in these windows, kind of feeling left out in the cold. I don't have what I need. So where do you need the sun energy is, I think it's getting really clear around, okay, what is the need and how can I meet it? And that might either be in a practical way, or like literally just problem solving, or maybe looking deeper. Maybe it's a childhood thing. Like maybe it's not actually as bad as you think it is. Maybe it's something that relates to something back there, feeling left out in the cold somehow, feeling like your needs don't matter, you aren't getting your needs met, some sort of sense of lackingness, in a major area of your life. So, but you can't really address that till you really get to the root or actually solve the problem. It's possible that sometimes when people get in this kind of mode of like, oh, well, this is how it is, there can be an active passivity of sitting on your hands, or almost like overly relying on hope. Well, it's going to get better. Like, I just have to wait it out. This too shall pass. But maybe there's an actual need for, actual horse action, horse forward motion, problem solving action, versus just feeling stuck. Either feeling stuck, or feeling stuck and like having a blind faith that things will get better, when actually you really just need to take some sort of action to make it better for yourself. Or stop avoiding it, because maybe there's an avoidance, as you see, like she's looking away. Maybe there's an avoidance, not really facing reality. I need to face reality. Okay, so that's really what I'm getting here is you're in a lacking position. There's something, for whatever reason, the steps that have led you to where you are, there's some sort of lacking in a major area of your life, material or otherwise, in the human plane. And there needs to be some sort of, okay, let's think about what is the actual problem. What do I authentically need or want or is missing, and how can I actually try to do anything if I can? Forward motion, some sort of forward motion towards it. Because movement is motion, even if you're just thinking about it or journaling, but not actually trying to fix the problem yet. Facing it and versus denying it or sitting on your hands is important, because that's going to move the needle in the right direction eventually. So I hope that helps. Now we're going to do the thing that I do, which is pull another card. It's the new year, and oftentimes people have resolutions or intentions or some sort of, mission or goal. And if you're in some sort of lack, or just feeling lackluster, feeling like you're stuck or in this scarcity mode in one area of your life, sometimes I think this time can feel heavy because people are excited in their New Year's resolution, or they're reflecting on the cool memories from the past, but you might be feeling not so great, if maybe you're feeling, man, I have regrets. That's, I think the antidote is to like, okay, let's face this. We don't have to sugarcoat it or try to toxic positivity, it away, but, facing it, facing what is actually going on is important. Okay, so I'm pulling the card from the bottom, which is really funny because, okay, I'm reversing. It's reversed. We had this card last time, or no, 2 times ago, because we had the moon last time. It was the star the time before. The star is, like we said, it's like after the tower. So it's after some sort of rock bottom moment. Perhaps this is a reminder, Actually, what comes up for me is, as I've mentioned, To Be Magnetic. It's a great manifestation program. They're doing a sale right now. I recommend it. But they've talked about how sometimes when you get in a rut, and then that can lead to a rock bottom. So this could represent a rut, like a scarcity, lackluster. Oh, well, it's not great, but I'm getting by in one area or not, or I'll fix it eventually, or, it's that kind of thing, looking away from it. If you don't tackle head on, at least try to make some sort of shift, then you're going to end up in a rock bottom, which to me, the star reversed is like that reminder of, that. Sometimes the reverse echoes to the previous card. So to me, this is like, hey, remember, like, you got to heal, you got to face things head on, or else you're going to go back. You're going to go backwards, or you're going to go back. You're going to have a rock bottom. If you don't face reality, it's going to come to you, knocking at your door, So the star, when it's upright, is about sort of the healing and the process post disruption, but it's also a reminder to remember where you've been and to stay the course and to not let that happen again. Or not that, or sometimes those rock bottoms happen, they're no one's fault. They just happen, but it's just a reminder. The star is a reminder of the need to face things and be mindful and be actually running your own life, like being mindful of your direction or where you want to go. And yes, maybe you get on the other side of that rock bottom, but things aren't always going to be great going forward. It's a reminder that it's maintenance. Sometimes you have to maintain, and that sometimes bad things will happen again. So versus putting your head in the sand and just letting things be like, okay, it's important to face reality. So I really think that that's what the takeaway for at least for me, for this reading is facing reality. Like, do your part and face reality versus putting your head in the sand. Because I think even if you've been through some hard times and you get on the other side, it can be easy to fall back into old patterns and to rest on your laurels, I guess you could say. Or to even think, well, the bad stuff has already happened to me. Like, I'm good. So to summarize what we've got is our card for the reading today was the Five of Pentacles, which could represent just a lack or being in a rut, being stuck in some way. And so we need the Sun card energy to remind you of having forward motion and taking the steps and facing reality, like to create what you want. Learning from experience, the things that you learned along the journey, because the Fool's journey, there are a lot of steps along before the Sun. So learning from experience and having confidence from those experiences that can help you get out of this scarcity time, this rut time. And also a reminder to, like, we had the star reversed, to not get complacent, especially after a big upheaval where you think, okay, I'm good now. Remembering there's still a responsibility to cultivate and lean into life. All right, so that is our reading for our Fool's Journey reading for the week. And next week we'll be back with, I won't tell you, but we're kind of ending up the last couple of cards for the Fool's Journey. So we'll be wrapping up the Fool's Journey series. I hope that you have a happy new year, and I will see you next week.